David Mills was not a name that I was familiar with.
Never heard of him.
We worked, all over this trial. All of us were glued to it, trying to, understand every turn of the screw. Mark Cohen, Christian Everdell, those were the two people who were basically on the stand defending SBF. So when the legal team reached out and said, hey, Ava's got this story about David Mills, who actually led the strategy for defending SBF, I was like, who? Tell me everything. And it turned out she had a lot to say. How did this story find you, Ava?
Similar questions were being asked in the courtroom, to be honest. During his trial, David Mills would sort of come into the back of the room and sit down with the family.
And not next to SBF.
Not next to SBF, no. He's
next to SBF's parents.
Yes, exactly. And reporters would point at him and say, who is that guy? Like, what is he doing? He's talking to the parents all the time. He's sort of sauntering up to the trial attorneys. So I was interested in getting to know a bit more about him, and turns out he has had a very full and colourful life. He has been a white-collar lawyer for a very long time, decades. He's represented some really big characters on Wall Street and in Silicon Valley, but he's also a very successful investor. He works as a managing director at Fortress and a bunch of other things. And you can tell from his interview, he's also very, very candid, which is unusual for a lawyer.
He's got a plane.
He does. He has his own plane.
I was like, oh, just fly your own jet to the Bahamas to see SBF, which he did, right?
Yes, exactly, when he went down there and agreed to represent him. And he wasn't willing to put a dollar figure on how much he's worth, but I think they give the jet, for example, gives you a little bit of an indication of what he is worth.
So there's this photograph of him with a baseball hat. 3,419 is on the hat. What is that?
That is the number of people he has helped get out of prison. So he was instrumental in changing the three strikes law in California, which is quite controversial. Had people doing life sentences on their third conviction, no matter how small the last conviction was. And he was really instrumental in being helping change that and getting a lot of people out of prison.
Emily, do you know how many Tim has on his baseball hat? Big goose egg.
He's got a humble 10.
Okay, so
Thank you.
So Ava, like this did not go down probably as Mr. Mills would have wanted, I guess. Like, I mean, if he's so good at getting people off, this is one guy who did not get off. What does he have to say about the client?
He said he was very difficult and a very challenging client, and we could sort of tell that he would be like that from after his indictment. He was speaking really publicly about the case after the bankruptcy, which any lawyer would tell his client not to do. He said that Bankman-Fried went off script essentially when he got on the witness stand, and it was Mills's idea to have this strategy where he would get up and say, yes, I said all these things that the prosecution is saying that I did, but I didn't mean to do anything wrong, and I was trying to save people's money and I was looking out for clients, but he certainly didn't do that.